guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for today, and this is another video from the test server, a part of the new DLC episode 40, which is World of Flashpoint, that launches on April 15th. This is going to be the Elite Alert version of the Royal War Alert. Now, if this is the first video you've turned to for the test server video series, my previous video uploaded earlier today was the Elite Duo. Tomorrow I will have both Elite Raids. That'd be Monday. Tuesday I will have the artifacts, probably the pet tier system, and possibly everything you need to know about the DLC and the changes. Or I'll do that everything you need to know video on Wednesday. But rest assured, everything that you need to know about the DLC test server in terms of all the videos about the new DLC, changes, stuff like that, mechanics, gear, style, all that stuff, definitely stay tuned, because I will make sure all that videos are released before the actual episode launches. So I did want to mention that for some reason I forgot to record the start of the alert, which is why I kind of showed me after a wipe flying back. Really, you're not missing anything. It's just mobs of ads that are in the hallways, so it's nothing inconsequential that you're missing at all. I do want to point out that this alert, the first part of it is going to be swimming, so just like Crown of Thorns. That is why you see me take that shock soder, which is from the first DLC, the Central Soder. So it gives you movement mode for 5 minutes. Now, you should also be able to use the Speed Force ring if you have that on live server. It's not on test server, so I can't test it, but I'm assuming it would work the same thing because it gives you super speed movement. So as you can see, each time you die, you have to take the soda again, but that's fine. So the reason why I absolutely hate tanking as flight or swimming, flight is the slowest in combat movement. You can't use dash attack. It's just swimming in general is awkward, but I understand how it's needed to function this alert. So we've already seen some of the mechanics go by. As you saw, my death was because, as you can see here on the left-hand side, all these, it's called pulse emitter, but these big, huge tidal waves come up from the ground. All you have to do is roll out of that area. But the problem is if you're a tank, Emperor Aquaman has it's called seaweed pull, but it's essentially, you would know it as vine lash. So he'll pull you back into it because it's how he triggers it. So that's kind of a little bit annoying because you're trying to get out of range and he just yanks you back into it and you get one shot from it. So, and it's going to be a one shot regardless. So even with like a page proc or something like that, it's still going to be a one shot. Now the second mechanic, as you saw there, that is the I think it's the Geo Pulse emitter. No, I forget what these ones are. The lightning strikes, but essentially it just these lightning strikes are going to come out from the sky, targeting the arrows on the ground. So all you have to do is keep moving. So the arrows are going to move with you. So as long as you're not staying stationary, then you're fine. Don't worry about it. Just keep moving. It's designed there. His other skull, which you saw me just dash attack away from, that is called Trident Surge. Essentially, it's just a big wave that he's going to fire in front of you and then come from behind you as well. It does one shot. It takes 2 to kill you, but the damage happens like a second after another, so you get like a 190k hit, then another 190k hit. So even if you took a soda or had a page proc, you can still die. So the concept of this fight is that the ads are going to come out and attack Flash because he's kind of vibrating his body on that pillar over there to destroy it. So if Flash is defeated, then basically you're going to have the geopulses from the ground everywhere. So it's going to basically like in a rage. So if you're the tank, you have to make sure you keep pulling the ads off of Flash, and if you're a DPS, just make sure that you kill the ads. The jellyfish are around you. You can't pull them. They're just there to kind of damage you. It's like 20-30k. It's not a big deal, but they stun you as well. So they're just there floating, similar to what they were exactly in Crown of Thorns, just in the hallways. So you didn't have to kill them, but they're just there, just kind of annoy you. Other than that, you've got his hammer throw, which you can interrupt. You've got that little, I forget what it's called, but that water pulse attack. But once again, you can counter and interrupt that one. But other than that, that's essentially it. The fight, it's more on positioning, honestly. So you have to be aware of the geopulses on the ground, the geopulse emitters from the sky following you around. You have to be, so you almost yank me again there. You have to be aware of being close to him with that Trident Surge for that skull attack, because that can kill you as DPS as well. I really don't see this fight being done without a tank. Possibly with a DPS. It's just that the problem is you're going to have to, if you don't run a tank, you're going to have a DPS always on the ads on Flash. Because as you can see, even now, Flash is like a quarter health, and that's with me as a tank trying to pull the ads. Because it's a very wide room, and when you're avoiding the Geopulse emitters and the Geopulse strikes, you have the issue is that you have to avoid them because you can't just stand and keep pulling. So then an ad escapes, it starts to kill Flash, and then you got an issue. So it's not so much a chaotic fight, but it's something that is burn consistent, and as well, you could probably even get away with it without a healer. That would probably be a thing. You'd probably be like 3 DPS in a tank would be the ideal setup, because there's no damage to heal, unless obviously if the tank can survive, but there's really no damage to the group at all, unless they hit those jellyfish. Everything else is just avoiding. But so far, I mean, it's a nice alert, that's for sure. The alert was designed by Quatoxic, so Quatoxic's the one that he's done like Return to Nexus, or sorry, not Return to Nexus, actual Nexus of Reality. He's done Darkside War Factory Elite. He's done the Clock Tower Elite. So it's certainly up to his standards. So let's jump into the next section here. For this beach part, you can skip most of it, so you don't have to worry about it. You can gather the ads if you want, just for some extra DPS time, but I'm pretty sure almost all of them can be skipped, if not each and every single one. You're just running through the hallway. And then you should remember this, because this is pretty, well, it's close to the map from the Wonderverse example, because kind of going through the Flashpoint here. So before we were at the Aquaman stage, now we're into the more into the Themyscirian stage. But it's all going to be trash bombs here. You do actually have a room coming up that's actually some unique ads that I wish actually we had more of. Should be coming up after this next area here. I love that AI. You're trying to lunge to get close to the ad to pull them, and then just auto block. Same thing, more hallway trash. So this is a room that's kind of neat. I mean, it's still the same thing, you're just killing ads, but as you can see, there's like those mini, it's not the Hellhounds, it's Cerberus, that's what it is. I kind of lost myself for a second. But yeah, it's nice to get to fight the Cerberus again. It's kind of neat, the little like small dogs. They go a little bit crazy with when you hit them with the Cornmac emitter, but other than that, there's no risk of dying to them. I think it's just some specialty ads that come in here. But certainly fun. I'd much rather fight a bunch of like those Cerberus-sized ones, or even have that as like a trinket pet or something like that. But really, I mean, this whole section is just filler between you get to the final, technically the final room, I should say, not the final boss. Which brings us up to the Queen Diana, so I'll kind of be quiet for the cutscenes, so you can kind of listen to her.
Circe.
Step away from the prisoner. The witch will serve, whether willingly or not.
Queen Diana, Wonder Woman, this goes against everything you stand for.
You lecture an Amazon on her own creeds? So, you have chosen death.
So the Queen Diana fight is not going to be pug friendly, that's for sure. It's a very mechanic heavy fight. So the main thing is, if you remember from the previous alert in Wonderverse, you had match those symbols and kind of, well, it's not symbols, it's Greek lettering, and you had to do that for that puzzle. Well, those Greek symbols are back, but now throughout the fight, you're going to have a Greek symbol right there. So stand in the matching symbol to remove the curse. So you get a symbol above your head, and you have to match that symbol, just run over the platform. And you take the massive dot until it's completed. So the issue is that the longer it takes, obviously, the higher the dot is going to tick. And the other thing is that if you stand on the wrong symbol, like if I walked on the symbol that wasn't mine, it's pretty much a near one-shot. It hits for like 200k, so it's pretty much going to kill you. Since it's Queen Diana, it's similar to her from that Wonderverse alert as well. So she has her reflect bracers attack, which is also very annoying. That one works differently. Right now, presently, this alert, the bracers is an absolute one-shot. So if you touch her at all during the bracer phase, either like the beginning or afterwards, you'll die. I think I died to it a few times, just trying to like pull aggro or taunt or just like a healer trying to hit, do like a heal over time that did damage. So that's I don't necessarily like that idea of it being an instant one-shot. I'd much rather take you down to like 5% health enough to take a soda and say, "Oops, okay, don't hit it." And then the second time it would kill you, but an instant one-shot if you hit the bracers is kind of frustrating. So again, another symbol phase. So while I was talking, we had an Aphrodite phase. So what's going to happen there? This is the reflect phase, by the way. You can see, I mean, it telegraphs it well enough with the shield, but still, if you can't see it, if you accidentally lunge into it, or you're away on the other side of the map and you accidentally hit aggro or a taunt, and then she does it, it's just instant one-shot. So, like I was saying before, we missed the Aphrodite phase. So what happens is a player is going to get a broken heart symbol like I did. It's going to be a permastun that you can only hit powers that are usable while controlled. And then another player is going to have a heart on their head. So basically, the player with the heart has to run to the player with the broken heart and then just freeze them. So with Ares, Ares is going to charge. He's just going to have a charge across the room back and forth. You just avoid his charges or block to reduce the damage. So, as you can kind of see here, the concept of the Queen Diana fight is that not only do you have her mechanics with the symbol phases and bracers, we have room mechanics that will have different Greek gods come out and have different impacts on the fight. So, another phase here, a player gets this aura and they have to run away, or the aura will chase them and do damage. You can kind of see it on the bottom right-ish side of the screen. There's another phase where some volatile... it's not sentries, what were they? Like volatile shades will come out and you just have to DPS them before they explode. That can be a little bit RNG because you can have phases overlap, so that's a bit of an issue there. So just make sure that if those adds come out, you kill them right away. You don't want them to explode because that's pretty much going to be a group wipe. Another one, I forget her name, but it's going to be a field of lilies. So basically you just have to walk, see, there's that attack I was talking about before. We just kind of keep running away from it. The lilies, you're going to have kind of like this pollen AoE field effect that's going to take damage. So the only way to remove that pollen is to trample these flowers animation that's going to be throughout the map. So once you trample all the flowers, you'll see the field of lilies damage disappear. So really, other than that, it's really a straightforward fight. It's just that you're going to have to watch the mechanics. Once again, you have to watch that bracer reflect so people don't die because it's a one-shot, so you don't want to lose in that encounter. You have to make sure that you're not trolling people and going for the symbols right away, so you're not having to heal that dot the entire time. You're going to have to make sure that... I'm sure there's a whole bunch of feats for this. I haven't really looked at the elite feats yet for this, but it's just that... it's a very mechanically engaging encounter that once you get the hang of it, then you're fine. And then besides that, it just becomes a DPS fest. But really, like the only damage that Queen Diana can do to herself is basically just that reflect attack. Other than that, she's dual wield. She's going to do mostly the 6 taps. A couple of the stunning swipes at the 3 taps. But herself, she's not really that hard to tank. It's just basically all the other mechanics. Oh yeah, the Zeus one, I forgot. So the Zeus one, you can see a lightning bolt up on my head. It's not really an issue because it's a pretty big room. We're spread out. But if another player was... Yeah, I just hit reflect. I didn't think I actually hit reflect. Oh no, I think golf. I can see golf on cooldown. So, I mean, that's how easy it takes. Just boom, one shot. Full health as a tank. But yeah, the Zeus mechanics is that he puts a lightning bolt above your head, and then basically you just can't... Think of it like the bomb phase from Fractured God Sphere Elite, where you just can't be near the player before when lightning bolt goes off. But then you saw that lightning bolt itself didn't do that much damage to me at all. I think it hit like 60, 70k through a shield. So that was inconsequential. But it's just that just spread out. There's no reason for you to be beside each other anyway in that fight. So this will take us to the second half of the final fight. And you can see my lovely inventory concerns.
Did it. But where's Zoom?
Most frustrating thing to do about test. I only have about like 5-6 slots available at all times because of like free to play level inventory. It's ridiculous.
Zoom's here, but something doesn't feel right. What am I not remembering?
It's obvious. This was your fault all along, Flash.
Wait. He's right. I changed time to save my mother. I caused Flashpoint.
This is what makes it all worth it. Time to finally end you, Flash.
The Professor Zoom fight's gone through a couple different renditions here on test server. It's very similar to obviously any other speedsters like Johnny Quick, how we fight him. So he's going to zoom around, make it a little bit annoying to DPS to get orbitals and supercharges down. When he teleports to you, you have to block and or roll at the same time because he's going to do this kind of like fist barrage where he hits you right away and then eventually he'll do an uppercut. But I mean, if you're standing around that long for him to do the uppercut, then you're just asking for it. There's no symbol phase, you don't have to worry about that. They're just lit up. Other than that, Zoom will have a few other mechanics where he will spin in the same spot. It's a weird attack name. You'll see it in the combat logs. I think it almost kills me once. But he just sucks you in. You kind of saw me hesitate there in my loadout when the fight started. This fight is a lot easier with a group immunity. It's right there. It's block to avoid being pulled in. If you had a group immunity, it would be a lot less stressful in the group. It's just a little bit awkward for fire. I would technically have to drop like in golf, technically I drop hard light shield, but the problem is then I'd like to have a shield for pickups because immolation is not a shield anymore, it's just kind of damage mitigation. And I mean, I could technically drop immolation, I guess, first viability, dash attack I keep for a little bit later, but yeah, it's just, I mean, it's way easier as ice and probably some other power sets as well, just a little bit awkward for fire running burnout, but you'll see, not so much for the first fight, really the only time you need group immunity is for that pull-in attack, but at the final side, you really do need a group immunity for that, especially for the mechanic that'll come up. So Speed Force Tempest, kind of these tornadoes will spawn. They spawn on the outside and then they'll move on the inside, so really just have to avoid them. Even if you go through them, it's only going to be like 40, 60k damage. It's not going to one-shot you, it's just something obviously you don't want to get stuck into. Other than that, he's going to have his whirling arm just like Johnny Quick and the other speedsters, so basically just lunge that and don't worry about it. Anyone can lunge it really, it's just it's going to be damage, it's going to suck you in and do some heavy damage. So really, in terms of a tank, there's not too much to watch out for. If you're a player like a DPS, really what you have to watch out for is you got to keep chasing because he's going to teleport around the map, and the map is actually pretty fairly sized. So you can easily get out of range in terms of a tank and have to move forward to taunt, which is why dropping a golf doesn't really work, because then you got to keep lunging him for burnout to get aggro on him, and then stoke flames instead of burning, so you have the heal back on the backdraft. So what I was saying before, he's got a few times like that where you want to drop your orbitals when he's doing it's like ecto something attack. You'll see in the combat log one of these times. There's another mechanic you just saw there where it's the specialty check or skill check. Basically, you keep spamming the button, break out, lunge him. It's not supposed to overlap with the Tempest Stormers, but it does sometimes. So you have to watch out for that. If you get caught in a Tempest Storm while doing that skill check, I mean, obviously you can't help that. So this is the main mechanic once he reaches about 35%. So you have to go up, and there's going to be 4 of those cogs you have to turn. And if you miss one, he's going to heal. And then basically it just keeps going on after that. More cogs are going to happen. You have to get the cogs each time. So that's why this is the important part for having like a group immunity like burnout. Because if he's doing a pull like that and you're running for a cog, see, this is an example of the Tempest Storm overlapping with the skill check. If one of those storms hit me, then I'd kind of be close to dead probably. Because once again, nothing you can do about it. So yeah, like I said, the burnout or group immunity would be really helpful in those times where the cogs are up and you have to escape it to turn the cog. Because if he yanks you away from the cog, you miss it, he just heals another 20%. So Obviously, that's quite devastating if you keep missing those, because you'll just keep getting more health. That's why I like dash attack, because I can be free immunity and also, you know, book it across the map if I have to get a cog. That's why I keep that. I don't know if I end up using it in terms of that example, but see, once again, he just yanked away from that cog. He healed a bit, as you can see. So this is where the fight gets a bit hectic. In terms of other stuff, it's just all of this is keep spamming that cog phase. As you can see, yeah, just dash attack for that one. But other than that, it's just on the group. We're down to player 2, so it's technically there's 4 cogs to get for 3 players. So obviously one of us have to double up. And then that it gets a little bit awkward for the DPSing, because once again, your max range, you can't be melee at all. You can't even be mid range because the Tempest Storms are going to be in the way. So then you're chasing Zoom around, trying to DPS, and you're also trying to get ready to be in position for the cogs, because the cogs will be in the same spot each time. So that's why I'd like to keep in the middle, because then I'm close to each cog if I had to get something or get it. You don't want to be all heavy on one side, because then you're going to be awkward to get to the other side. There's what is it? Velocitug. I was looking at the combat log. So if you get too close during his spinning attack where he pulls in the group, that Velocitug will nearly one-shot you. Hit me for like 339k. But once again, that's another thing it's grouped to have like group immunity for. It's really helpful, just so you don't have to worry about getting pulled into that. As a player, I think it pretty much one-shots you. But once again, you shouldn't be that close to Zoom anyway. There's no reason for any DPS or healer or any role besides the tank to be close to Zoom. And really, that's it. I mean, as long as you get the symbols, it'll be a straightforward fight. If you miss the symbols, you're in for a very long fight. I can see he's using the super speed movement to get there. Dash attack if I need to. So I mean, if you're a DPS and healer, you know that phase is coming, so you can prepare yourself. So it's there might be an audio cue. I can't remember in game if there is one, but you have a sense of that phase is going to start, so you just be ready and be ready to hit it. That's why as a tank, I'd always suggest to stay in the middle, just because, like I said before, you can be close to getting any cog that the other players can't get. And then that just turns into a DPS fest on single target. So that's the alert, guys. Join me tomorrow, and I should have both the elite raids ready for your viewing pleasure as well. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching.
What does that thing do? Talk.
No, Flash must